Hey everyone, so I'm about to share with you some more projects. These are large shakers and this is part of my Valentine series. So these are Valentine shakers that I made and I'm going to show you how I do this. I made 3 in total, but the third one I'm going to do a process on this, so just stay tuned. Really cute, and that's pretty much how they're going to go. They are done projects there. Now I'm going to show you what I'm using, and I use Lost and Found Heirloom from My Mind's Eye, and this was the last time that I used that pad. I had put it in my D-stash lot, which I've sold already. So, and then as well as some of those little cardboard type, not cardboard, but they are thick cardstock. Even though it says paper hearts there, it's actually almost like chipboard. And those are, I thought, Michaels? Yes, Michaels, I think. All right, and then what else do I pull out to share with you? A sleeve. Now I don't use those sleeves in this particular project. I tried and my fuse tool was too hot and was going straight through it, so I ended up using something else. So I used that chipboard piece or cutout die cuts from Michaels. 3 of those I had pulled out of there, and those are from Target. I think those are from Hobby Lobby. And then just some other things from here and there. I think those lips were also Hobby Lobby or Michaels. I'm not sure. I used some trim from my stash. Those are also Michaels. I just put them in a bigger jar. They usually come in shorter ones. Some of the black soot ink. And some stamps. Found those at Tuesday morning. I was trying to look for that so you could see. And that is the XOXO stamp from that pack. And those are from Target. I found them during fall, which is really cool because they're all like made by and handmade stamps. They stamp out pretty nicely. And then I did use Memento ink for the stamping. My fuse tool, which was really hot that day. I don't know, it's never so hot where it's melting straight through, so I had to work quickly, and you'll kind of see how I do it. Now that file right there is a silhouette file, and I use some glue. The design ID for that file is 60742. It's called a 3D triple bow with flower. So I'm about to just put some of that on only the edges. I only need the paper to hold enough while I'm working with it, because once it's in the sleeve and it's fused together, it's not going to move around. So you don't need to put that much glue on that. It almost fits perfectly in a 6x6. You just have to tilt the heart slightly over so that it fits. And then I'm just going to trim the edges. Just following the heart. When I get to this part here, I stop, and then I'm going to kind of skip that point and then go around, and then I go back and do it because I was trying to go continuously and I ended up ripping that paper right where that little point is inside. So you kind of have to go back and do it this way so you don't rip the paper. The last 2 I had ripped it. Okay, so then I'm going to be doing the other side the same way, just a different pattern. And only on the edges. I probably didn't even need that much glue or tape. I was just making sure it's the right pattern that I wanted. So that one's not much of a directional side, so I just put the heart down like I did there. while the stripes were a little more directional, and I kind of wanted them to go straight up, but like I said, you had to tilt the heart a little bit to get it to fit in the 6x6. And I'm almost done cutting. All right, that is now covered on both sides. And I have that little chipboard on the bottom there because I'm going to be using it when I do my fusing. So I'm just going to ink my edges. I just didn't want plain, you know, just want to give it a little bit of distressed look. Even though once I put the trim on, you don't see too much of it. And I end up doing that to both sides. Okay. Now here I'm going to stamp my XOXO and to and from, and this I remembered to oh, I wanted to see how the bow is going to look on this, on each pattern, see which side I really liked before I stamp it down. So last time I put the XOXO on top, usually you want to end off with the XOXO. So this time I put it on the bottom and then put made by on the top and then signed it before putting it into the sleeve. And last time I forgot to sign it and I made the whole thing and sealed it all up, and I had to sign it on the plastic, which, you know, wasn't the best, but there is the made by. I even stamped it on the chipboard that it's on the table there just to see how it looked. And I'm going to sign it in a second here with my Dollar Tree gel pens. And you do have to kind of get it started with those pens, the ones from the Dollar Tree. They don't always start writing from the beginning. And I did put a year down there. All right, so now to grab, I think, the sleeves. I'm just kind of cleaning up. I gotta clean up as I go. So I had this scrap which I thought was gonna fit, and for some reason it didn't, because I had measured earlier and I thought, okay, well, I could use this other half, and it just wasn't working. I didn't have enough. I'm like going, I'm really thinking hard. I said I thought it was gonna fit. Nope. So I'm gonna be cutting off and then coming back in with the package of sleeves that I usually use for my 3-ring binders from Target and for storing cling stamps and dies. So those are from Target, those sleeves there, and they're a lot sturdier than the other big sleeves. I don't know where I got the big ones from. So that's what I'm going to use, and you have to give yourself enough space to use the fuse tool, especially when it's super hot. You can't do it right on the edge of your piece. Let's just call it the chipboard piece in there. It was just cutting it out instead of sealing. So, you know, I was checking to make sure it wasn't still cutting straight through. So I'm kind of moving it fast at the same time so the heat doesn't stay in one spot too long. Usually it's not that hot. I usually have to go like a couple times over it. Now I'm not going to seal the whole thing. I do more than half, and I just left like the other side of the heart open so I can throw in my sequins and things. And I had used that binder clip to hold the heart in its place. So I'm going to close it a little more, and then I end up leaving the rest open. And I still keep checking, making sure that it's not cutting through. So I'm going to cut the excess off, still leave myself enough room. I kind of cut it close on that first snip there, so later on I have a little trouble pushing it down so I have enough to seal. And my tracing with the fuse tool wasn't perfectly straight, you know, I kind of, but that's why I put up trim on it later, just to conceal the zigzag look. Alright, and I do fix it a little more, I think, later on. Alright, so I'm going to be filling it with some of those beads. And again, what I did with that is those big bottles, I don't even recall where I got them from, but the smaller jars that Michael sold with those beads, I was able to fit almost 2 jars per one of those instead of having so many, because I had bought like 2 of everything. I don't remember where I got those from. Probably AC Moore. And then the large XOXO could be Michael's or Hobby Lobby. I want to say Hobby Lobby. But you know, all the stores carry these things. I don't order those things online. I don't order sequins online or seed beads, none of that stuff. The only thing I ever order online really nowadays, when I actually need it, is like my Wild Orchid Craft flowers. I really don't get that much online. Not like I used to. And some of those lips. That was a huge bag that I had picked up of those lips. I've been sharing and sharing. I still have a lot left. But they're cute. And I just want to put a whole bunch of different things in there. I have these like light colored hearts that I throw in there. And I'm going to put some gold in. I'm kind of looking to see what I had in my other one. What's cool is that you could really put a lot of stuff in these larger shakers. You can use up all your sequins and beads. I'm going to throw in some white. And then some 2 different shades of these pink colors. That one was almost like a lavender / pink. And then some of the like regular pink. And I think that's all the sequins I had, if I'm not mistaken. Then the last thing I throw in is that XOXO heart, that one right there, from Michael's. And I leave it loose, I don't adhere it. Alright, so now I'm going to finish sealing. This is where I'm trying to push it down so I have enough room to seal that plastic on that little part there. And I'm just checking to make sure it's all sealed. And let's see, what I'm going to do now? I think I had a spot that needed some sealing maybe. Nope. Just going to finish cutting. Okay, so now I'm going to glue down my trim with my new glue gun that Irene sent me. Thank you so much, Irene, again. I am in love with that glue gun from SureBonder. It's just so easy to use, and it's so lightweight and small. It heats up so fast. The precision tip is perfect. Pretty much I'm just gluing down my trim. Nothing spectacular. Really easy. I probably could have sped this part up, but this is what I'm going to do through the whole thing. I didn't really have too much time to edit this that much because I could have sped this up. Right here I'm going to cut that piece, and I'm going to show you why, because if I just try to keep going it's just going to fold over. So I cut that and cut that piece at an angle and then continue gluing things down. Almost there. So I'm almost done with this series. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I only have one more episode to go. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but most likely it'll be the next day when I make this. You might not see it for a couple of days, but so one more episode. I was trying to finish before the end of this month, or at least by the end of this month, but today's already the last day of January. So the last episode is going to run into February. But I'm so happy. I did so many episodes for this series for you guys. And I hope you've been enjoying it. From the response you have been. So, okay, so now we're pretty much done with the trim. I'm just kind of cleaning things up here and making sure it looks right. I think I only have one more thing to add to this, which is the bow. I think the striped one is my favorite. Now you can add more trim to that, to the top of the lace, where it's sewn. So here I put my bow. I had made those bows a long time ago, and I had them, saved in my stash. So yeah, it's a really cute bow. Alright, so I put that down, and then I'm going to put my little center, which is those target hearts. And again, without this little precision glue gun, I wouldn't have been able to do that on that tiny piece without getting like giant globs everywhere and burning my fingers. Okay, so I'm pretty much done with my project, everyone. So thank you again for watching, and stay tuned for, I believe it's the last one to come. That should make 30. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks again. Bye now.